Isn't Tom a colossal bastard? You see, maybe it's because we're Martians, but I can't see what Tom did wrong.
Well, you see, what he's done wrong is he's tried to tell her what to do and how to change things. She doesn't want to change things. She just wants to come in and moan about things, and the husband's job is to go, there.
Why present a problem
you.
if you don't want it fixed? Keep it to your bloody self.
You're so masculine. I've clearly been converted by this book.
Well, there's a fixed scenario here where Tom does the right thing. So let's have a look at that. Mary has come home tired and exhausted, but now their conversations are quite different. They sound like this.
Oh, there's so much to do. I have no time for me.
Tom takes a deep breath, relaxes on the exhale. Sounds like you've had a hard day.
They expect me to change everything at a moment's notice. I don't know what to do.
Tom pauses and then says,
I even forgot to call my aunt.
Oh, no.
She needs me so much right now. I feel so bad.
You're such a loving person. Come here and let me give you a hug.
No,
that feels so much better.
I feel so much better that. And yeah, I've seen some criticisms of this book that say that it's really a book which aimed at getting women to behave, you know, to fit in with men. The bits we've just read out there are clearly designed to make men behave more like women, really, in a touchy
more like
feeling.
Bloody idiots, if you ask me. Oh, come on. Mary's never going to stay with Tom, is she? Be perfectly honest.
Well, one thing that I did notice, and I hope I'm not lowering the tone here, is that it gets to page 218 before sex is mentioned for the first time. Up until then,
yep, that's pretty much been my experience.
If you're a kid and you picked up this book accidentally, you think, oh, life is, life as a husband and wife is entirely based on people coming in from work and saying, oh, I feel tired, or who's going to take the rubbish out, or is it my turn to cook dinner, and stuff like that. And as I said, it comes to page 218, and it's 21 on a list of how women can score big with men.
No, here we are.
So there's 20 things before.
You said they don't mention sex until page 218, but there is a chapter heading on page 33.
Oh, sorry, did I miss that?
Well, a chapter heading called Finding Relief in the Cave.
Yes. But that's for the man on his own, I'm afraid.
Yes. It's got 101 ways to score with a woman for men. So if members of the audience, could you shout out a number between 1 and 101? 70. Ask her specific questions about her day and indicate an awareness of what she was planning to do. I think there's a way of cheating through that one.
Yes.
Just go, how was the thing that you planned? How did that go? Dying to hear. They've got amazing stuff in here. When going out, ask if there's anything she wants you to pick up at the shops, and remember to pick it up.
Yes.
So, Clive, a guide to relationships, your marks out of 10.
Well, I was ready to mark it right the way down, but I sense in you that you have really, you're rebelling against it, and I want to mark it up a bit more, just to encourage you
to piss me off.
Yes, and, certainly, and to encourage you to look at it in a slightly better light. So I'll give it 6 marks out of 10.
There we are. Clive Anderson, 6 out of 10 for Men of Mars, winning from Venus.
Enjoy yourself, it's later than you think.
Okay, Clive, one of the many experiences you haven't had is to take part in the National Lottery.
Yes. It's a strange sort of moral line that I've always taken on this, because I don't mind gambling in a small way. It just seemed odd that the government should be inducing us to gamble in this rather sort of dodgy ways. Like, I don't mind there being, car adverts on the television, but when Iggy Pop's doing it, it doesn't seem quite right.
It doesn't seem right, does it?
Now, the government should be sort of saying, oh, be careful about gambling. Oh, if you're going to do it, well, we'll tax you. We'll take some money.
Yeah.
We'll take 50% of the money from the football pools or wherever it is. But to say, hey, we're the government, government, we want you to do this because otherwise we're just not going to provide any sports halls, we won't be able to run the Olympics, the Royal Opera House is going to close down. So all you people who are desperate, and this is kind of the people we're aiming at, who will think, well, if I pay £1 in here or £10 a week, there's just a chance, a fractional, tiny chance that I'll make millions of pounds. It seems just slightly weird to me, so I sort of dug my heels and said I wasn't going to buy lottery tickets, and I've stuck to it until this programme.
Until this programme.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the possibility at this moment of winning £2.5 million.
Yes. Now, I'm now beginning to worry this, because if I win the £2.5 million, I want that to happen. Do I want to do it on television so everybody knows that I've done it, and I'll be besieged by requests for money from the producer of your programme, for example?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we'll have our feedback for a start. Both pounds. Now, Clive, you haven't seen Wednesday's draw yet, and I don't know what numbers you've got on your ticket, but I have got the winning lottery numbers here. So, let's see if you match up. 19. Yes. The number 19.
19, I've got 19. Fantastic. Let's stop now.
I've got 19.
Yeah, I've got 19, yes. Look at that.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Or was it 16? No, it's definitely 19. No, so I'm ahead of the game now.
So you're one number in. Let's have a look. The next number is 6.
I don't have a 6.
You haven't got a 6.
No. I've got
Hang on, it's not over yet.
Well, I think it is, isn't it? Haven't I got to get all the 6 numbers right to win the thing?
Well, yeah, but there's the extra lucky number. You could still have 4 or 5 numbers right.
Could I? Does that help me?
OK, Clive, the next number I have here is 39. 39.
39. No.
Well, Clive, I'm disappointed, and I bought this for you as a contingency. This is a scratch card.
OK.
And
well,
with this, well, you
right,
stand a very good chance of winning £100,000. So I'm going to give you a straight choice of either taking a fiver in cash or this scratch card, which is worth probably £100,000.
Oh, I have you up in court.
What do you think you should do, ladies and gentlemen? The scratch card or the fiver?
Scratch or cash?
Scratch or... Cash? A fiver from the banker who's recently lost his job? Most people saying scratch card? Yes. Clive, which way are you going?
I'm going to refuse this temptation. I'm going to take the fiver, because that's...
Okay.
Do you think I'm weird that I took against the lottery? It's just that feeling of the government using us. It seems a bit like sort of George Orwell, 1984, when the population... He imagined that world where we're all under, there's cameras looking at us and lotteries being...
Imagine this world that we're living in.
Permanent wars being fought for reasons we quite can't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's... nothing like the real world now, but that just seemed to fit into it. OK,
well, Clive, you didn't win, sadly, which is obviously a surprise to all of us.
Yes.
But as an experience, buying your ticket, seeing the results come in, how was it? Marks out of 10 for the lottery.
Well, the experience wasn't too bad. When I sort of fumbled my way through ticking off the numbers, I had the sort of limited excitement of thinking there's a 1 in whatever it was million chance of actually winning. And since I didn't win, I'll give it 0 out of 10.
Clive Anderson gives the National Lottery 0 out of 10. Clive, you've seen lots of films, most of the ones from our special list, but there was one film made in 1986, a cult classic, seen by many people, starring Richard E. Grant and Paul McGann, the iconic Withnail and I. How have you not seen Withnail and I?
I don't know. It's extraordinary because, as you say, it's a cult classic. It was made in about 1986, and it's about the 1960s, and it's sort of set in people living in sort of grotty flat or a house together, and that's... I did that in the 1970s, so I was sort of halfway between the two, I suppose.
Did you know the plot already?
I knew roughly the plot, and I knew a lot of the lines. So when I watched it, it's a bit like, the schoolboy first seeing Hamlet and saying, well, what does Shakespeare do? He just strung a load of old quotes together. Right. Because you're so familiar with it. There's loads of scenes, we've gone on holiday by mistake, and lines of have been quoted at me, and people have done little bits of the performance, and so there were lots of it which were very, very familiar. So part of me thought, well, I don't really need to see it. I know it's almost off by heart as it, but I'm very pleased to have seen it now. It's
set in 1969, right at the end of the 60s. 2 out-of-work, drink-soaked, drug-addled actors take a break from their decrepit London flat and head for their Uncle Monty's cottage in the countryside with hilarious results.